Hey guys, my name is Cynthia. Thank you for clicking on my video. Um, as you guys can tell by the title of this video is going to be about my stillbirth experience. So this video is going to be a lot more personal than all my other videos, of course. So I just want a disclaimer out there for everyone. This is my experience. This is what I went through. This is I am going to share a little bit of how I dealt with it, of course, just to let everyone know. Um, yeah. So this is my stillbirth experience, and I hope I can help someone out there. By my experience, we all gone through different things with our birth. So, with our pregnancy, sorry. And this video, I wanted to make this video more personal, whereas I'm not gonna do too much at it, so it's going to be very raw, and yeah, just very raw for you guys, so you guys can see like the real me and unedited version. There is going to be a little tweaks here and there. Of course, if I make like an ugly face, it's going to be good. But no. So here's to one of my more serious videos. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope I don't make anyone cry. If I do, I'm so sorry. I don't really talk about this too much, but I thought it was time to. And I asked everyone on Instagram what I should do, if I should do my birth experience with Malaya, my birth and labor video, or if I should have done a stillbirth experience. And everyone, of course, this is why I'm doing this video, everyone chose stillbirth experience. So here you guys go. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you. Alright, so first thing it's basically story time, you guys. So I'm gonna just jump into it. I had at 26 weeks. That's 26 weeks when you guys know when you have to do the glucose test, like to test your sugar and stuff, see if you're like high risk for diabetic and whatnot in your pregnancy. So I actually hate that test. I don't know if anyone else does as much as I do. I hate that test. I actually had to do that. I was about 26 weeks. I was like at the end of my 26 weeks when I was like, okay, let me go do let me go do that test. I did that test, and then the next day I was actually 27 weeks. So I had to go for my 27 week checkup. Sorry. And that was the checkup that changed me, you guys. It changed the way I thought about life. So I went for just a normal routine checkup, just to, what was it? Just to check the baby's heartbeat. And I did know it was a boy. So we went. So I went. I was actually alone. Jordan was working. And I usually always went with like my mom to my appointments. And this day, out of all days, I actually went alone. And I didn't really ask for anyone to go this day, because I thought, my whole pregnancy was pretty normal. I had pretty good pregnancy. Got sick with him. I got very sick. My morning sickness was horrible for the baby boy. And I'm not going to say names, or no, I don't want to say names. We didn't have like a legit name until after, so I don't really want to say names, but I will tell you guys like dates. So this was in January, and I was only about 27. I think I was due in May. Yeah, I was due in May. Sorry, you guys, this was about 2 years ago, so my brain is a little scattered with like the dates and stuff. This was 2016. So this appointment was supposed to be just a normal checkup, just to check baby's heartbeat and whatnot. Got called in, and then my doctor came in just to check heartbeat, and how do I say this? We felt movement. I kept feeling a lot of movement throughout this whole like pregnancy. Just to tell you guys that now, I did feel a lot of movement. And what always messed me up was I didn't know I had a hernia in this pregnancy, and I had like a little bump right above my belly button. I always had that little bump, but it came and went away. And I didn't know that was a hernia until I was pregnant with MJ, and then they told me, "Oh, that's a hernia." Um, so for this pregnancy, I always thought the hernia was a baby, like a foot or something. I mean, I was first time pregnant. It was my first time being pregnant, so I didn't know. So um, the my doctor actually thought that he was just moving around a lot, and she just couldn't find it. So she's like, "Oh, okay, let's just go do an ultrasound," because she's like, "I really need this heartbeat to make sure everything is okay." And sorry, you guys. Um, ooh, I didn't think I was gonna cry. Um, and then she just looked at me and said, I would never forget this day, you guys. She was just amazing. Like, I love this doctor, still do to this day. She was like, "Oh, honey." And you know when you hear those words, "Oh, honey," "Oh, sweetie," but it's not, "Oh, honey," it's very subtle, "Oh, honey." Like, it's very sad. Their voice breaks a little. Her voice broke a little, if anyone understands what I mean. Um, so it was a, "Oh, honey," and I was like, "What? Like, please just tell me." She's like, "There's no heartbeat." And I mean, I was in shock, you guys. So I was like, "What do you?" So I was like, "What do you mean there's no heartbeat?" I was like, "Is he okay?" I mean, you're in shock. It didn't register that, no heartbeat means baby's not alive. So she's like, "I'm so sorry, there's no heartbeat," and immediately tears just calmed down, running down like rivers. Like it just came down. I'm not the type of person that actually likes crying in front of people. I really don't. I've always been like that. It's just I don't like it, but it just came out. And I think I even at one point was like, "Can I please go to the bathroom?" Like I just wanted to be alone for that minute. And she's like, "I really need you to call someone." Like, and they already knew Jordan. So she's like, "Where is he?" I texted him. I was like, "Please, you need to call me ASAP." And he knew I had an appointment, so he knew right from then. He called me like in seconds. And I told him what happened. He's like, "What?" Freaking out. Um, he is the best support. I wouldn't have been able to get through that, you guys, without this man. So he tells me, "Okay, I'll be there." And mind you guys, he's pretty far from the hospital. And then I call my mother, which she lives 2 blocks away. I call my mother and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna be there. I'll be there." She said, "I probably beat Jordan, obviously." He ended up beating my mom there. I don't know how in the world that happened, but he said he was going so fast and he got there first. So then my mom and Jordan were there, and they were both very supportive and helpful. And anything I wanted, whatever decision I made was on me. So I appreciated that. I feel like you always need like a big support. Like you need someone to really support you. And I don't know about anyone else, but I actually like small group of people when I'm going through hard things like that. So just my mom and Jordan was like perfect. I didn't need anyone else. I didn't want anyone else. Um, so then they give you an option of every woman is different. We're all different with what we want with how we decide on what we're gonna do it, when we're gonna do it. So my doctor asked me, "Do you want to, you know?" She told me, like, I didn't know this, you guys. I didn't even know about stillbirth, to be honest, like that. Um, so you have options. One of the two of like the options, was it two? You either deliver the baby naturally, or you deliver the baby naturally, or basically they do a I think it's called like a DNC, like they suction out the baby, kind of like what they do for um for women that wanna have an abortion. They could have done that, or I could have a vaginal delivery. But the catch with the DNC, having the baby like suctioned out of you, um, was that I would get badly scarred and pretty damaged, I want to say, inside. Like they could really cut me up bad because of how big he already was. I mean, I was already entering my third trimester, so it was more dangerous to do the DNC. I hope I'm saying that right, you guys. I think it is a DNS or DNC. So we're just gonna say suction. Um, it was a lot. It was a bigger risk doing that, and then the other option was vaginal, and I was in shock because I'm like, you do this, like, I'll have to have this baby vaginal, like if I was having a natural birth, and that hurts like hell. That is very, it's just painful thinking about it, not even the process. It's, you have this baby that was alive, inside of you alive for so long, and then all of a sudden you have to bring it to life and it not be alive. So thinking that, I was like, this, are you serious? Like, you become in shock and you're like, are you serious? Like, this is what women go through? Like, this is what happens? Um, should have grabbed some tissues. I didn't think I'd be crying on camera. Sorry, you guys. I promise I'm not trying to make anyone cry. Ah, probably be saying sorry a lot, you guys. I'm so sorry. So yeah, back to what I was saying. You're in shock because you already found out the news that your baby will not be alive. Your baby isn't alive. Your baby won't come into this world with you and will not leave the hospital with you and go home like you planned, but you didn't plan this to happen so early. So, and if anyone's wondering, that's like my nervous like smile, and I laugh when I'm nervous and I'm in an awkward situation. So I'm not. This is not a joke. Just want to let everyone know. This is just me, and this is how I handle things. So then, back to what I was saying, you're in shock and you're told this, and then the other options were, do you want to do it today or do you want to wait? And I'm like, I can't wait. There's no way. So then she's like, she's like, honey, I just want you to go home. Just try to like calm yourself down. I'm like, there's no way. Some women are probably amazing with this. They can handle it probably a lot better. I looked at Jordan and he's like, you know what, let's just go home for a few hours. I'm like, okay, we'll go home for a few hours. She told me that they will be waiting for me. I think my appointment was around 12, maybe in the afternoonish, or even a little bit earlier, but then I ended up getting off so late because of the news, of course, and having to schedule everything that day. I scheduled everything that day, and this day was the 27th of January. Um, So the 27th, I was like, okay. We went home, and I'm like, I went home and I could not. I couldn't. I'm like, I have a human being inside of me that's not alive, and he was supposed to be alive, and he's not alive, and I had to be home. And I like took a shower, I got myself ready, I tried to eat, couldn't eat. You guys, it's a very sickening feeling. It's very sickening. Like you think like, how am I supposed to keep living when I have someone inside of me that's not living? And how should I be eating right now? How should I be okay with this? And I'm just breaking down because I felt like it was something I did. And my doctor tried to assure me that I didn't do anything wrong. There was no signs of anything I did. And you feel so heartbroken. I'm pretty sure this is every mom. You feel like you did something wrong. Like, I'm like, what did I do? Like, did I eat something wrong? Did I walk too much? I'm a walker. So I'm like, did I walk too much? Did I do something too much? Like, what did I do? And you keep blaming yourself even though people tell you not to blame yourself. It's life, and I still to this day kind of blame myself, but I tell myself that it was nothing I did because they found nothing. Um, so then I was home, and then I think about 4 o'clock, I told Jordan, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. Can we please go? I cannot. I can't do this anymore. I'm like in tears, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't. We have to go. I have to get I have to get cleaned. Like, I have to get cleaned out. I have to let him rest. Like, I can't keep carrying my little baby boy like that anymore. So then we went to the hospital, and you guys, they were amazing. So we went. They already had a room set for me because I kind of told them around what time. I told them around 4:35 because I knew I wasn't going to be able to be that long with knowing the news that I got. So I'm like, okay, we need to go. So we went. Um, they put me in a room quick. I was already in the delivery room, and they actually had to induce me like a normal delivery, like a normal labor delivery. I got induced because, obviously it was way too early, so my body didn't know that I needed to push a baby out, so they needed to give me um, Pitocin through like the IV, and the pain was already bad enough. And this one nurse said I fell in love with her, like just her vibe and how amazing she was. And look at my face, you could tell I was in so much pain. The look of Jordan's face, he was quiet to himself, didn't talk to anyone. That's how he is. When things are going kind of wrong, he's just very quiet. Sorry. I'm trying not to make this video be so long, you guys, so please bear with me. So then we went. So we were already in the room, and then the nurse that I loved so much, put the IV in my arm. And I have like tiny, really tiny little veins. You can't see them sometimes, they don't pop out as much. So it's always it's always been so difficult for nurses to find my vein. So that she had to put like the IV, which I was already in so much mental pain. Not physical, it was all just mental pain. And mental pain is so much more worse than physical pain. Like, it's a huge heartache. You feel like someone's stabbing your heart 1,000 times. That's how bad. Like, my mental pain, my pain inside of my body, I was aching, and it was so bad. And like, the tears would keep falling every like 10 minutes, just falling down. And then it would be silence, and then I would just cry. And that's real pain, you guys. That is real pain. Not no physical pain. Mental pain. It's so bad. Um, so then the IV was finally in. She had to put in like this funky way. Like I had like the IV like up here somehow. It was weird. So I had to like just be careful with moving my arm a lot because if not it would like how they hook up like the machines and all that. It would keep beeping every time like I moved or something because it was so odd on my arm. It wasn't like where they actually always put it. Because that's how difficult my body wanted to be that day. Um, so then that happened, and then when you're having a stillbirth, it's like regular pregnancy. Well, like you're giving regular birth, but you're actually able to take any type of medication because um, obviously the baby is not alive anymore, so nothing can harm the baby. So they offered me like different medicines, and guys, I'm horrible with their names, so I don't even know. So one of the things they actually really had to do, they wanted to find out what had happened, what went wrong. It's a lot of fluids. I had tons of fluids, and they actually had this one doctor come in with this huge needle, like it was like about that big, maybe that long. Um, they had that doctor come in, and he wanted to do some tests, and he's like, "This may hurt." So they stick it like right above my stomach where I had all this liquid because they wanted to test that. And there were so many things that could go wrong when they did this. So I have to be like very still, very careful. They actually were looking at the ultrasound machine, and like while one doctor is holding the ultrasound machine, the lady was actually, it was a guy doctor, and then there was another, she was a resident. She was actually a doctor too, but she was still like in training, I want to say. And you guys, I have nothing against people training in the hospital. I mean, that's what they do. They all go through that. Um, but this was just not the time to have a trainee in the room with me right now. It was not. I needed doctors that knew exactly what they were doing, not had another doctor with them telling them what to do. I was not in the mood for that, but I was trying to be as calm as I could, so I let it be. Uh, Jordan almost Jordan almost bursted when he saw how much pain they had caused me too, because they had to stick this huge needle and like a syringe and stuff to take the fluids out, and they had to do a couple because he had to go in and then go in deeper and deeper and just get as much as he could. And then this lady, you guys, when I tell you, he had the doctor in training do it, and she was so like heavy-handed, but I don't think she knew how deep she was and how hard she was doing it. Like she like stabbed me with the needle, and then like she was like forcing it, and like you can see her forcing it, and I'm like, okay, hold on, I'm like in a lot of pain with this needle, and I'm really good with needles. I've had like a good amount of like piercings. I had like a chest piercing, so I've always been really good with needles. And I'm like, this really hurts. Like she's actually really hurting me. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, this is just the needle. I was like, no, you're heavy. You're going in very heavy and very hard. And Jordan almost like blasted this lady, you guys. He almost said, she does not need to be here. And I looked at him like, leave it. Leave it alone, when you give each other that look of it's okay, I'm fine. That's what I had to do multiple times because I knew that he was not happy with her being there. And again, we have nothing wrong with this. Is we have nothing wrong with trainers. I've always had like doctors come in and be in training and nurses and stuff. I have nothing wrong with that. I love that because I'm like, okay, you could practice on me, but this day was not the day for that. I mean, go to someone that's, happy right now. I'm not happy. This room is very depressing right now. We're all depressed. Um, So she was doing it, and then they finally finished. I'm like, oh, like the pain, like it hurt, you guys. Like it's a huge needle. And I think once she kind of stopped, I felt a little, a little better for the most part. Um, so then that happened, and they did that type of test. They did a few other tests, like obviously me peeing in a cup. They did that as a test, and then I'm not too sure about like all the times. I know when I got there it was around like 4, and I was there for hours already. It was already like 7, and nothing was really happening. And then I was starting to get contractions, but I actually had the choice of getting like pain medication, so I didn't feel it as much. And they wanted me to feel as comfortable as I possibly could. So they asked me like if I wanted epidural, and I'm not into epidurals. I don't like the fact of a needle going in my back. I mean, probably possibly being paralyzed. I know they've gotten so good with that, but I've heard so many stories that always just scare me. So I did not want an epidural. I said no, but they're like, assisting because I'm already going through so much emotional, mental pain. Like I told you guys, it was so much mental pain that they didn't want to add physical pain on top of it. And I'm like, no, I'm okay, I promise. Like, I'm fine. I'll ask for it if I really need it. And these contractions, you guys, were horrible. Oh my god, they were so painful. And I actually had, to give birth like normal. So they had to wait till I got 10 centimeters. So the difference with this was they did not want my water to break because they did not want the bag to rupture. Um, so for this, how for regular pregnancies they want your water to break. That's how you can have that's how you can have the baby. You can't have the baby with water still there. So with this pregnancy, they wanted me to um, have the baby without breaking my water, because the thing was that if my water like broke in the bag, erupted and like popped or whatever, the baby would come out more so very dry and very very wrinkly and not, I don't know the exact word, but not like soft like babies. Here we go. So they really wanted me not to push. Um, they just wanted, and then when I became 10 centimeters, it was hours later. It was like already 10 o'clock. I think I had given birth around midnight. So I had given birth around like 12. So it actually was very fast. Because he was actually just sliding out. It was like normal pregnancy where you kind of push, but they didn't want me to push as much. So then when I'm like, okay, I really need to push, like I think he's coming. They were just telling me to just let my body do it. And as women, as human as humans, we are amazing. Our bodies actually just push for us. My stomach, like everything just started pushing on its own, and then you get that urge where you have to push, and I pushed a little, and then it was I was very confused because I'm like, what do I do? What do you guys want me to do? I remember laying there like, what do I do in tears? What do I do? And they're like, nothing. Just let your body do it. And you feel so weak and helpless, very helpless. I was already feeling very helpless throughout the whole thing. The very beginning of when I found out all this. So I was already very weak and helpless and just upset, and it's so much pain. And I told you guys it was so mental that no matter how many medications you gave me, the strongest things, and I hate strong medicine, no matter what you gave me, it did not take away that pain that I felt, that mental pain. That mental pain was horrible. Um, it's heartbreaking. Again, my heart was aching. My stomach was in so much pain because it just hurt. Just knowing, it just hurt. So then, I my body just pushed. I actually just pushed, and one little push, and then like my body kept telling me just push again, and I pushed again, and I was so upset with myself because I felt the whole bag just break. Like I just and doctors moved so fast. The nurses, the minute I pushed, they took the baby instantly because they asked you if did I get asked before? I think I got asked if I wanted to see him right away, and I said no because I just didn't. Jordan didn't want to see either. We just really didn't. Well, I could speak for myself. I just really didn't want to see. Not yet. I wasn't prepared for it. Um, I just wasn't ready. But they actually asked me if they could take my phone and take pictures, and they told me, you can look at them whenever you're ready because we do want you to just kind of see what he looked like, kind of, which was hard because since my bag did shatter, my bag did break, the water broke, so he wasn't as soft anymore. It was very um, wrinkly and loose and just not tightened. I mean, he only did weigh like a pound. I think it was a pound, and he was about 12 inches long. So he was very long. It was so early, but he was very hairy. That's kind of how Malaya came out, very hairy. I had a lot of nurses in that room with me, a ton of nurses. Yeah, because it was my doctor. I think there was about two doctors just to be on the safe side and make sure I didn't get an infection and make sure nothing happened to me. And make sure that he came out safe from inside of me and make sure I didn't hurt anything. Because there is a lot of, it can be very dangerous when you've had a human inside of you deceased for a while because they weren't sure how long he was deceased for. They told me because of like the liquid, the color of the liquid was very dark, so they told me I had to be, um, he had to have been like deceased for about 2.5 weeks, which was not true because then the results came back that he was deceased for only like a week or so, which is still very, it's hard because I'm like, wow, I didn't know my own child was, not alive. So as a woman, it does hurt you so much because it's like you didn't know. Like, but like I said in the beginning, even my doctor thought he was because I had so much liquid. That is why I felt so much movement inside of me because of all the liquid I had carried. Um, so I did have a ton of liquid. They said it was a lot more than the normal. They still, till this day, have no idea what happened. And I really wanted to know what happened, but then again, I'm okay with not knowing. I mean, certain things are just not meant to be. So then, sorry if you guys hear that. That is my phone. Certain things are just not meant to be, and so then, so then I had them, and like I said, it was about midnight. It's about 12 or so, and then the same day, but I like around a lot later in the day, I have visitors. I had family come in before too. My mom, my cousins. I had a few people come in and tell me they were so sorry and just sit there with me. And I love family. My family, my friends. They took my mind off with things for a little, made me laugh. Just what you do when someone you love is in so much pain. Um, and I like to think I'm a very strong woman. So I try to laugh at things, and just I did try to get just my mind off of everything, for a little bit. And then my friend, one of my closest friends, she came, and she was just very helpful and amazing. She helped me a lot, actually, you guys. She sat there with me, and even throughout my pregnancy, she helped me. I love her so much. She actually was the one that convinced me to go see him. She told me, you're gonna be in more pain, because she knew me. She told me, you're gonna be in more pain when you get home, and that you're gonna be more upset with yourself that you did not get to see him. And I was like, you know what, you're right, because I'm not in my right mind, so I wasn't thinking like me, really. So then I'm like, you know what, you are right. And I saw him. Um, that was super hard, but then it just gave me a little bit of closure just to see him, and it felt kind of good to see him. I don't know. I know that probably sounds weird to people that have never been through that, or just never been pregnant. It just felt a lot better to see him. Just to know that. I cried. They had a separate little room for me to just go see him and just go through things. To be alone. Guys, I told you guys I'll be saying sorry a lot. Whew, this video was a lot harder. So yeah. So then I'm gonna talk. So then that was what I want to say about that. Um, and every woman is different. Every couple is different. We actually didn't. I didn't want a baby right away. But I think some of you put it together. Malaya was born a year later. I think it's just amazing how she was born actually the same month, January. She was born the 16th. He was born the 28th. And that is very meaningful. I feel like she just has a huge angel just watching over her. She is our rainbow baby, and a lot of you guys know rainbow babies actually stand for like when you've been through a storm or miscarriage, stillbirth, if you had hard pregnancies, difficult pregnancies, and you've lost a baby. That a rainbow baby is like Malaya, a baby that comes after the storm. So like after a huge storm, you guys always see like the rainbows. I feel like my friend actually told me this, and she's like, Malaya is a rainbow baby. This was a year later. She's like, she's a rainbow baby. Like that is amazing. So she is our beautiful rainbow baby, and